Hi friends, welcome back to Daydreamers Barn. I'm Jess.
I'm Chris.
And today we're going to be giving you our reaction and sharing some videos and some pictures of the Royal Air Force Ball that we were able to attend at RAF Marham. And that was
2 days ago.
2 days ago. So we're going to jump right in and give you our thoughts. I'm just going to say, number one, this was the most elite ball I have ever been to. Ranks number one in my event other than our wedding. So that was number one. So this would be number two. But like events that I have ever been to that was just well planned out, just amazing.
Yeah.
From the start to the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those who don't know, Battle of Britain is, they celebrate it every year here for all the Americans that are watching that don't know anything about it. It celebrates the Battle of Britain from when Germany was trying to invade the island to, since they had already taken over most of the mainland Europe in World War II, and they had their eyes on the England. Mm-hmm. It took place from 10 July to 31 October 1941. Yeah, it was just a big stand for the Air Force specifically because it was going to be a sea and air raid, but turned out just being an air-to-air conflict. Was the first, one of the main air-to-air battles of the time.
Yeah, it was, just being able to experience that. They had a reenactment of Winston Churchill, like the speeches that he gave, and that was just so moving. And then watching the Spitfire fly over with the, the
station commander.
The station commander. He was fantastic. It was the sergeant's ball, so the officer had to be invited by the head of the
sergeants, I guess.
The head of the sergeants, the person that was putting on the ball, that was in charge of the ball.
Yeah, so U.S. Air Force, we do just one big ball for the entire force. Yeah. The way Britain does, I like it. They have separated between the sergeant's ball and the officer's ball. And with that, it was more of an intimate surrounding. It was
so small. There was about 8-9 Americans that attended, and we were all set at one table. I really wish they had us intermingled with people, but we still had a blast. Every American there, I think, left with an appreciation for what we had just been able to appreciate and be invited to, and be able to attend. It was spot on. So walking up, when we first arrived, we were met by a server that was serving a cocktail and a champagne or a wine. I think it was champagne. Prosecco. And that was something that doesn't happen at our balls. So it was just, it set the tone for what we were about to experience, and everybody was gathered outside, everybody was talking, and then they brought out hors d'oeuvres. Mm-hmm. Again, very good. And and they had like an old military Jeep that was parked out to where you could take pictures. Unfortunately, we did not get that. We started talking to people. We started mingling and eating and drinking. And then, they had the flyover, and then Winston Churchill came out, or the reenactment of Winston Churchill came out, and he done his speech, and then they set off this sounded like an alarm to move us to the next stage of the event, of the ball. And then so we went into the bar area, and that's where we all hung out for about 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was a little bit, just enough to kind of congregate.
Get some more cocktails if you wanted something different. It was just, all in all, was
Yeah, it's very well scripted too, because they would give you, they hit the clacker or whatever it was, and they give you a 15-minute and then a 5-minute warning.
Yeah.
So you knew, okay, cool, I need to get ready to go to the next room, get a drink, do whatever you're doing.
Yeah. And
so
trying
you're not caught off guard.
trying to learn, because there are certain rules for the event. And as Americans, we messed up a little bit of them, but we weren't prepared, so we did not know going in that there were rules, but we were trying to learn when we were mingling in the little areas prior to getting to the dining area.
They said, don't do this, don't do that. And I was like, wait, what? And then we went to different tables.
And then we separated, and we were like, hold on, we didn't take notes very well. But it was still a really enjoyable experience, and the food was something that, I think I'll remember. Well, I'll remember the cake. It was a chocolate, just decadent. It was the bomb. So, yeah.
Yeah, they definitely went to the next level with the presentation of the
did.
food, with all the different things that they had involved with it. So we were pretty taken back by the whole service.
Yeah, it was something that we will not soon forget. Being able to learn from the sergeants, I think, was another great experience. Being able to talk to them, I took in that there are different uniforms, so I started asking questions. There was not just the Royal Air Force there, but there was the Royal Army there as well. And so we got to intermingle and get to talk to a whole bunch of different people, not just the upper ranking. We spoke to even ones that have only been in for a couple of years, and we absolutely loved it. It was, just seeing their perspective on our military and learning how they feel, that sometimes they're not seen in a, I guess not, they're just doing a job. I think they are respected here, but it's different than in the United States. They don't have like the big, keep your ID, different benefits that the military have. They get a pension, but they don't get, I don't know how to.
Yeah, so in speaking with them, we got to learn a lot of the differences. One of the main ones that was brought to my attention was the fact that they said not necessarily that they're not treated well over here, but they see our veterans and what we do, different programs and different things, and they really appreciate that, and they think that we're doing it right with the veterans. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then we got to talk about some of the differences with, like she said, they're kind of looked at like, it's just a job.
Yeah.
Whereas we look at it as this is our profession of arms, and the public kind of stands behind us a little bit on that one, I think.
Right. Also, if you're trained in the military to do a certain job, on the outside you can get that job easily. Yeah. Here, it's totally different. They will be trained in that job, but they're not able to take that knowledge that they learned from serving their country to be able to apply it to the outside job.
Or, well, they can, but they have to pay the government back for what they've been trained on in order to perform that. So they're like, it's just not worth it. It's like, wow, that's completely
totally
different than what we're used to seeing, because we actually try to emphasize, hey, you'll learn a skill, you'll learn something, and you'll be able to use it, if you only decide to do 4 or 6, but their initial contract's for 12 years. So. Yeah,
and so it's just being able to take that away and be able to learn from them, and and understand that whenever Chris retires, he gets a retired ID. I also, as long as I'm married to him, I will get a dependent retired ID, and the difference of them not being able to have that identification of that they were a prior service member. I understand that they don't have the same benefits on, installation, like the luxury items, like the commissary BX and so on and so forth, that we have on our installations. I understand that that's one reason why they wouldn't, but just to have that identification that, you served
honorably or whatever the case is,
and or medically retired.
Yep. So, and that was one of the other big differences too, was the medical differences. My assumption was that they ran their military much like we did, where they had their medical facilities and they would have their own private insurance that would help it as well. But what we found out was it's quite the opposite.
They're covered by NHS.
Yep. Yeah. They're regular healthcare, so they go to their regular doctors and everything else.
Yeah. We are under TRICARE, so we are seen on base or by a specialist if they can't see us on the base for certain needs. That comes out of your pay every month, just like our dental comes out of your pay as well. So, we do have different, as we've said before, NHS and our healthcare systems are totally different. There are pros and cons to both, and I think that is something that we're learning by speaking to different people. There are really, really good things, and there are some things that there are people that have issues with, and but that's not our cross to bear, nor our right to judge or mention anything about bad or good. I feel that it's a system that's working here for its people, and I feel that is great. Mm-hmm. So, but also being able to mingle with everybody and meet some fantastic human beings that I will probably stay in contact with for the rest of my life, I think is, another thing that I will always take with me is I have people over here. I have not met one that is just a nasty, nasty individual. And I think it's, they may be, but, I have always met people and I treat them the way that I want to be treated, and I think they realize that I'm not coming from an ugly place. It's always from I want to learn from you, and I want to just be around you and be kind, and it's just been fabulous. So I do have to say, if you were part of the Royal Air Force or do they have Royal Navy?
Yeah, they have
Royal Navy. Yeah. If you serve your country, I want to thank you for your service, because I, as a military wife and a military brat, it is truly important to me for you guys to know just how important y'all are for everything that y'all do. Not only for your nation, but for yourself, to know just how important you guys are. So I will be sharing pictures and video that we got from the ball with you guys. And if you have an opportunity to go, take it. If you're an American and you see this opportunity pass through your email, ask your spouse and let them know that it is something that, even if your spouse don't want to go, I feel that you should go and just experience it, because it gave me the chills and made me appreciate England that much more. Yeah,
it's definitely a fun experience that you're never going to get again unless you're stationed over here for longer. Yeah. So if you have the opportunity, 100% go for it and try to get on it, because they're trying to incorporate us with their events a little bit more, from what we were talking to some of the people leading the event. And they want to, try to see if we can reciprocate it. So that'll be a great thing to try to.
That's what we're going to try to do. What we can do on our end to get more of the
foster the relationships.
Right, because our young individuals, we need to help them nurture this bond with our allies. I feel like we lose so much and worried about people's feelings, and we need to start nurturing everybody, and and welcoming our differences and loving our differences with each other. You guys are the most amazing people, and I appreciate everything. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, leave a comment down below if you've ever been to the Battle of Britain, or if you have ever served, so I can, Chris and I can thank you for your service. I know some of you have, and y'all have shared with me some stories, and we do thank y'all for y'all's service. But yeah, this is just us having a good time in England. Another checked off thing that we can say that we've done and that we've absolutely loved.
Yeah, it was something that we didn't think we really wanted to have to check off, but the opportunity came up, and we're definitely glad we did it.
Yeah, and thank you guys for the advice. I wore dress number 1, as you'll be able to see, but it was so comfortable. It was hot inside after everybody started dancing around and moving about, so that was something that I feel like helped.
Yeah, the singers.
Oh, the singers. If I'm not mistaken, the singers were elite. They were fabulous. Yeah. They had voices of angels. They, if I'm not mistaken, what I was told is they were the on
Britain's Got Talent.
Britain's Got Talent. So I'll share a little video, a little blurb of them doing their thing.
Good job.
They did, and they were beautiful. Their get up, they had traditional era appropriate get up. It was just done to the nines. This whole event was elite. It was,
and that really helped with the intimacy as far as the whole ball as a whole, because it wasn't just speakers playing music in the background or anything like that. They were in front of you performing, and it felt like it was, like you said, it brought you back.
It did. And so they did have a DJ, but it started out with the singers and stuff. So please stay tuned and watch to the end and watch all of the pictures and the videos that we were able to get for you guys so we could share. We just had a great time. You guys are amazing. As always, be safe. Bye.
I speak to you as your Prime Minister, and above all, the cause of freedom. Rather more than a quarter of a year has passed since this new government came into power. And what a cataract of disaster has poured out upon us since then. The trustful Dutch overwhelmed. The Belgian invaded and beaten down. Our own expedition.
Thank you.